Hello there, everyone. Welcome back to some more Let's Play Underrail. In the last episode, I believe we had talked with the various members of Aegis Incorporated at their camp. And then, we were rewarded with a Aegis patroller from Chief Briggs for our prevention of the pirate ambush which would have occurred, thus saving Professor Oldfield from capture or death. We drove that patroller back to Underrail. And then while we were here, we sold various stuff to the merchants scattered herein. And then we investigated an area by Oculus, a rock outcropping, which I hadn't noticed before. And it leads down to a new area added in one of the other patches, which had come into the game since we started playing it. We found a group of lunatics down below, and the lunatics had a merchant which sells drugs that we normally would not be able to get. A bullhead drug, I think an iron gut, and several focus stims. I think there was a hypercerebrix for sale there as well, which I placed into my extra drug cabinet. And then we witnessed those lunatics perform a ritual where they attempt to transfix themselves. They attempt to ascend to like a higher existence by touching the Oculus. They can sense it's there, but can't see it and don't know what it is. We ourselves witnessed this firsthand because we partook in that ritual and ended up dying. Oh, that was glorious. And my intention was then to explore the Crawler and Deathstalker filled caves in the Upper Caves section of Underrail. But I have already done that. Today is July 30th, 2021. And after listening to myself talk from the over the past few episodes, which I had recorded, I have decided to re-record them. I did not like how some of them came out. Occasionally, I wander into topics in a way that I shouldn't. And I begin talking about things without having a great deal of knowledge about them. And I'm a bit vague in what I am saying when I'm describing certain things, or I'm approaching different points in my dialogue about video games I'm playing, and in particular about negative aspects for some games. And we're still going to talk about the things that I had talked about in these videos that I am redoing, but I would like to be more precise and a little more honest, more straightforward with what I am talking about. I also have a habit of doing what I'm calling stupid talking, where I am not being very accurate in the words I use. This is because trying to play a video game and talk at the same time is very difficult, and my mind works faster than my mouth and fills itself with the things I think I want to say, and then I utter the wrong words. It's something I've been trying to correct myself from doing for quite some time, but I've not found anyone able to even describe this problem in order to fix it. It's like I have this weird dyslexia of thoughts beyond just words, because I'll say the wrong words. In any case, some of the topics I was discussing were things that needed greater care, and so I want to re-record the past 8 videos of mine, which is going to end up being just the past 4 videos or so. Actually, I'm sorry, the past 6 videos, but it's only going to be the past 4, because I've already done some of it, and my save file was updated, and I do not have a prior save. So I have already explored all of the upper caves. killing all the crawlers and deathstalkers that were within them. There was nothing here. No audio items. I'm sorry, but by nothing I mean there was nothing. No treasure was worth it, and there were no oddie items that I found during my exploration of these rooms. I also defeated the Black Crawler in its cave. All the Deathstalkers and Crawlers that were in that area as well. And there was no oddie items there either that I had missed. Nor was there any treasure that was worth it for Decker. I'd also explored the one area in the underpassages here. This ladder led to a room filled with Deathstalkers and Crawlers. Or a series of passages and rooms. And there's nothing in there worth it either. There's no good treasure. There's no oddie items that you can discover, or at least none that I found. So if there is something in there, it requires a higher perception than what I had to find it. Either through stats, or through actual looking around on the map. The good news is that saves us about 2.5 hours. You hear some faint mumbling. Oh, that's the tech. That was the trader. So it saves us about 2 hours of me wandering around those caves, getting stabbed endlessly by those bugs, and not finding anything. That's the good news. The bad news, though, is I'm basically redoing 8 hours worth of recording. And this is not the first time this week I am doing this. This sucks. I hate recording videos. Well, on that same note, I feel like I need to. I'm really unhappy with how those other videos came out. So we'll try to make it interesting for you guys as we go out there and explore more of the Black Sea, because that is what we'll be doing today. My objective here is to explore this area and then swing up to the west-hand side and then north and explore these chunks of the Black Sea. We're looking for more oddie items. We only need 5 more to level up, which I think is what we needed at the end of the last recorded video. We really found nothing. It was not worth it. Exploring those tunnels. That was not worth it at all. Hello, Agents Incorporated. Scattered throughout the Black Sea, we will find fireplaces like this one. I think they're used to light signal fires, to let someone know there might be something interesting there. But I've never been able to figure out what you're supposed to leave there. That island doesn't have one, but there's another island which we'll get to probably in the next video, which is a treasure chest next to its fireplace. Decker, do you read me? This is Oldfield. Over. I read you, Professor. Go ahead. Over. I need to speak to you in private. It's important. Please see me in my tent as soon as you're able to. Over. Roger that, Professor. See you soon. Out. Oldfield out. I'll delay that a bit so I can have the excuse to do some driving around out here. All right, Tim. Well, then you just told the viewers that you're re-recording this because you're unhappy with what you talked about last time, or rather how it came out. So what was it you were talking about that has you so concerned? Because I still want to talk about it. I still need to be a little more accurate. So I have my Steam system up over here on the right-hand side of my screen. None of you guys can see it. And listed in my one category called Never Played is 201 different video games. One audio experience point, by the way, for more mutagen duds. We're not going to talk about all the games that I haven't played, because I haven't played them, so I can't really tell you anything about them, other than maybe why I decided to purchase them over the past 10 years or so. Some of them haven't been played for that period of time. It's been a very, very long time that I've owned some of these games, and I've never fired them up. But I do have all these other categories. I'm a big fan of keeping things organized, keep everything sorted. My room is organized, my books are sorted, my house has things organized in different categories, my clothes are sorted depending upon why I would wear them and what type of clothes they are. And so I do this as well for my game lists. For Steam, I have several categories, like action RPGs, beat-em-ups, early access games, first-person shooters, you know, classic stuff. Stuff that you would... tags, I suppose, is a word to describe it, right? That's how these games can often be organized or categorized up on Steam. But I have two categories here, which we're gonna start talking about today, and maybe for like the next few videos. And these categories are not ones you'll find on Steam, because these are pure opinion categories. One of these is called crap games. Games I own that I view as being utter trash. And there's another category here called meh. And meh are games that aren't absolute trash, but are games I'm probably never going to fire up again, even if I had really liked them and played them for quite some time in the past. And so, I think it might be fun, or if nothing else, it might be interesting for you guys to hear me talk about some of these games. I often dwell on the games that I like, as I personally find it more enjoyable to think about and play games that I do enjoy, rather than think about or discuss games that I did not enjoy, or I no longer enjoy playing. However, maybe this will... how to describe it? It might be interesting to you guys to hear why a game would be considered meh to me, especially because there are some games in these lists that are probably very well liked by the majority of people who play games. But first, we're gonna kill this serpent. We missed the aim shot. Not enough. Oh, we're out of action. We didn't kill it in one go. Let's reload and move a little bit away. Sea serpents have a great amount of movement, so this thing's going to be able to keep up with me. Thankfully, though, it doesn't look like it does the damage to get through our glow, nor the damage to get into my armor if it actually does manage to hit me. Sea serpents in the water who are swimming in it low are very difficult to hit. I'm not going to waste bullets on that attempt. It's like a 50-something%. We'll move away, and he'll reach me, but he can't actually swing at me. They drop an item that we haven't discovered yet, and they can drop up to 4 of them. So we are interested in fighting every single sea serpent we come across, for the leper serpents at least. There it is! White leprous tongue. You probably shouldn't be anywhere near this, but what the heck. It just occurs to me, if this creature can afflict you with leprosy, God, that would be a nightmare if it wasn't for antibiotics. Hopefully, the antibiotics in existence in this world, well, they are strong enough. Or our body is strong enough to purge itself of that disease. You know, there's poisons in this game, but no diseases, right? I think that's the case. Another NFT area of some sort, and this one is open. I don't care about acid barrels. What's in the medicine cabinet? Some morphine. I remember this well. This well will lead down to an area filled with toxic gas. We did bring the Aegis Incorporated helmet with us, so we can just put that on our head. I was wearing the motion tracking night vision goggles? We don't need to wear that. Alright, so let's Head downstairs. So, before I talk about these games, I feel like I need to... Oh, wow, that's amazing Kelver cloth. Quality 149 and 146. They'll sell for quite a bit, even if we decide not to make any armor out of them. Okay, so before I begin talking about these games, I do feel like I should stress that me saying, talking about these games and reasons I'm not playing them are my reasons alone. They don't have to be yours, and they probably are not yours. And some of these games I know are well liked by quite a few people, but they are not for me for one reason or another. And we'll talk about those reasons while I'm talking about these games. But if you like these games, that's great. I hope you continue to like them, and you get many hours of enjoyment out of them. I feel, for some reason, I feel like... Oh, hold on. A new item. An old cheesy love letter, vomited out by the Black Sea. I feel like in today's age, for some reason, you're not allowed to not like something. You have to like what everyone else likes. I feel like that's a thing. I don't know why I feel like it is. But I feel like saying I didn't like this game or that game or this movie or this show is something that is frowned upon. Or it feels like you're only allowed to dislike things for certain reasons but not others. But what you like or dislike is completely can be completely opinion. And it's up to you. Someone may really like suffering through a bug-ridden game if they can get around it and they find it, the rest of it, like really immersive, and they like the gameplay. Hermit Crab! Let's let it get closer to us. Alright, let's move up and take away its defenses. And punch it to death. I really should not attack it after it's immobilized on the same turn. Hey, and we got the second pillow that we needed. And we've leveled up! Level 24. Alright. So this point is going into perception, giving us a 9 perception. We level guns and melee all the way up to 130. We level dodge and evasion both up to level 120. And our leftover 8 points, some of these are going into tailoring, and some of these are going into electronics. We're going to grab rapid fire. I was not sure if I really wanted it or not, but in the end, I am going to take it. There it is. Let's grab you. And for our specialization, we grab the final point in expertise. And then we put rapid fire on our hotbar. And I think we move standard attacks here. Okay, let's keep exploring more of this area. Before I talk about these games or talk about random stuff, let's look at the pool. The water is clear. You can distinctly see several large underwater passages branching out in various directions, and because of the way the glowing algae illuminate their entrances, it almost appears as though these natural lights were deliberately placed there. Additionally, by observing the fast-moving particles disappearing into one of these passages, it is plain to you that there is a strong current carrying them. Jump into the pool. A dead Rat Hound alpha. We haven't seen any Rat Hounds living in the Black Sea yet. Nor Psy Beetles. Nor standard siphoners, I think. Nor crawlers or deathstalkers, but here are 2 ancient Rat Hounds. How did they get here? Well, let's begin killing them. I'm going to take several pot shots at them from this long distance. Nice, all of those hit. Let's move up so we benefit from Gung Fu. And we will punch this one with exposed weakness. And now we'll try to kill it with our pistol. So let's try out Rapid Fire. Rapid Fire will fire three rounds from our pistol at an increased action point cost and slightly decreased precision. A normal shot for us is 11 action points. These 3 shots are 16. So it's still cheaper than firing 3 individual shots. Okay. Let's move up so we benefit from Gung Fu. And take out... Oh, we can't quite take out the Rat Hound. Let's run around the corner. Alright, not bad. That was a piece of cake. What were they guarding? Liguia. And nothing else. Oh, well, glitter shrooms as well, I suppose. Quality 111 Ancient Rat Hound leather. That is amazing. We are taking that. Quality 69 leather. I don't care about that at all. And there's nothing else here. There's no debris to destroy. Let's repair this. Our pistol. How's our power fist is okay. And I think this will take us back to the shore near our glow. Yes, it does. The current carried you all the way to the sea. Okay. So, we are also, by the way, near the greater siphoner pools. So, if we are hoping for some better quality leather than what we've gotten so far. Well, I think we have stored quality about like 72 or so. But I would like to get quality 90 if we can. And I think we can from one of the siphoners in here. So let's head on in and do this. And I think we'll use standard rounds. And while we're walking around, I suppose we can start talking about random stuff. Alright, let's get going. So, one of the games I have on my crap list is a game that I full played on my YouTube channel. And it's actually still up on my YouTube channel. Uploaded back in 2016, I believe. I can't believe it's been 4 years since I played this game, because it feels like just yesterday I had played through it. The game looks amazing. It's got great voice acting in it. The gameplay is incredible. It's one of the better FPSs that I have played. A bunch of different weapons, which can be upgraded differently, and you can spec yourself differently in your playthrough as well. It's got stuff for you to find, secrets as well. It's great, and I hate it. and it's in my crap games list, and I beat the game. In fact, I suffered through it almost 2 entire times, because I had recorded 8 videos of the game, but then had to reshoot 7 of them. Is that right? I don't know if it was 8. It might have been 6. Hold on. A greater siphoner, which is quite dead now. A 2-point item, a skull-shaped mark. A skull-shaped mark on the surface of the greater siphoner's skin. Surely this is just accidental. I'm going to loot the bodies here, because I need them cleared out, because I want these respawning. Because I get that, I have a feeling we're not going to get the siphoner leather I want from these. The game I'm talking about is Doom from 2016. Yup. Doom 2016. The game crashed to desktop at least twice every level. Sometimes it would not load the level multiple times, and it would take about like 2 minutes for it to finally load the level when it did so. Like an attempt would take about 2 minutes, and I would have to reboot my computer to get the game out of load mode if it got stuck. Not only this, but the game ended up being corrupted. It thought I had entered into developer mode, which I never did. It corrupted my save files. It flagged them as I was cheating, which I did not do, and would not save my game from then on forward. I could not revert the game into a state where it realized I did not do this. And in the end, I was forced to delete all of my save game files and reinstall the game from scratch. And the game is not a small game. It's something like 30 gigs or something like that, if I recall correctly. It's a rather large game. It can take about an hour or so, I think, if I remember correctly, for it to download. I don't want to hit install on it. I'm looking at it right now on Steam, and I just don't want to do that because I want to know how big the download is, but I'm pretty sure it's massive. And I have Fios here. I have fiber optic, and it still takes, again, like an hour to download. So that's a big, well, it's not really a big commitment. It's not like I do anything while it's downloading. But what a disappointment that game was. Such an amazing game, ruined by a plethora of bugs. And it's one of those games where one of those games. There's only a very few games that do this, that I have this reaction to. When I fired up the game to start with, and I saw Bethesda as the name of the producer, I hesitated at that point. I had promised I was going to record it, and when I saw Bethesda pop up, I had thought to myself, maybe we don't play this. My previous experience with Bethesda has been with Daggerfall. And before we talk about that, let's look at this crevice. You see a single vertical notch just above the crevice, appearing as though it had been made with some sharp object. Looking into the crevice itself reveals nothing, however. The opening is far too narrow for you to crawl through, but it will just about accept an arm reaching into it. No way. I'm not doing that. Probably something waiting in there. I remember the Ewok adventures. I'm not reaching my hand into a crevice. No way. Get it bitten by some horrible creature and then we're sick. And we die unless we get some sort of special paste that only Wicket can find. I'm not doing that. Another forked rock. Nice. Another oddie point. Daggerfall was a horrible buggy mess. The game had numerous quest issues. You could not complete the game in its released state. NPCs wouldn't spawn. Quests would lock. You wouldn't be able to get the objects required for you to find them to spawn. Sometimes the creatures would fall through the world. You would fall through the world. Spells wouldn't work properly. The list goes on and on. It was awful. And Daggerfall had been released back in 1994 or 1993 or so, if I remember correctly. Fan patches have since made that game actually at least beatable and playable now. But in its released state, it was garbage. Absolute trash, that game. We're not going to talk about Daggerfall for too much longer, though. My only point being that my prior experience with Bethesda swore me off buying Bethesda games. I had that much of a miserable time with Daggerfall back in the day. We don't need any of this crap. We don't need digger. We don't need these fish either. We're looking for a ghost face. I think it's in this chamber. If we can fish it up, that'd be fantastic. 89 greater siphoner leather. That is acceptable. We can make armor out of that. If we infuse it, it'll be around quality 130? 129 or so, I think, greater siphoner leather. So that's worth it. We'll double back to our home after this island here. Okay, that's good enough. Let's move away. So we don't want a greater siphoner siphoning us. I do want all the parts off of it. I see a dead pirate over here I didn't search, so that's where I'm aiming to get to. Yeah, so Doom 2016. In fact, I was so soured on the game and all its bugs. I heard there was a new one released. I think it was last year or this year. And no, I'm not interested in playing it at all. I've heard that, like Skyrim, I think, was another game released by Bethesda that's gotten good reviews. But I'm not interested in playing it because Bethesda. Very rarely does a game company carry such a negative connotation for me. And I prefer weighing each individual game on its own merits. But I have been so soured on Bethesda's awful games, the bugs that come with them, and at least my experience with them has been nothing but riddled with bugs. And not bugs you can easily ignore, not like an occasional NPC is stuck in terrain. But I mean things that make it so you can't finish the game, or it forces you to replay hours worth of work. No, that's not for me. I don't want to do that. I miss the days when games would be released without crippling bugs in them. You know, back in the 80s. Like the old Commodore 64 games. Or old PC games. Atari games didn't have the bugs games today have. But to be fair, some of those games did take a long time to design also. So, there's a lot of moving parts in games these days, and they are beautiful, gorgeous, great-looking games for some of them. Great stories in others, lots of work put into them, but oh, come on. So anyway, Doom 2016, one of the games that I played, that I really enjoyed playing, that I managed to beat, and immediately upon beating it, it went straight into my crap games list where it will stay forever. And a part of me, look at this. I immediately hit enter and walked up because I knew this was going to happen. Alright, we have 3 greater siphoners here. Let's move up and use our strange medallion on this one. We'll stun this one. I'm going to use some adrenaline. And then we're going to shoot this one. Reload, sprint, and get away. Eight hit points left. So we can move over to this one now, switch to our Power Fist, and expose weakness it. The electricity will leap into this one and kill it. Then we switch back to our pistol and rapid fire into this. And then we can fire on this one. Reload. move away. But in such a way that I want to be able to move around this siphoner if it reaches me. We should use bullet time. Alright. All done. No other greater siphoner levers that interest me. Let's start fishing. Okay, so what are other games, Tim? So in addition to games having horrible bugs, which is one of the reasons why it would end up in my crap games list, games could also be abandoned. I have backed several Kickstarters throughout the years, and some of these games, the developers never bring the game to fruition. It never gets finished. It's abandoned. One such game that this occurred with is a game called Sea Wars that I backed on Kickstarter. It looked like a real-time strategy game of sorts, where you're like a real-time an auto battler might be another way to describe it, where you placed certain heroes on certain columns or rows, and they used their actions to fight against enemies that were on the other side of them. It looked very promising, and when it was released on Steam, shortly when the early access was released on Steam, it wasn't marked as early access, but it felt like early access, and it was never finished. Another game of this sort was a game called Frontiers, where it was being worked on by a single person. And while I have a great deal of respect for someone attempting to work on their game all alone, it was never realized in the to the extent that was promised. And if I remember correctly, the game looks awful. The models look bad. The world didn't look as good as it had been advertised as looking. The quests didn't really work. I remember logging into it once and being really disappointed with what I had seen. And logging into a game and being disappointed in it is one of the reasons why I don't tend to play early access games. I have done it on my channel in the past a few times, and I actually really regret doing so. I've played... what were the games I played on my channel that were early access? Darkest Dungeon. I played through Darkest Dungeon when the game was in early access, as I was an early access backer. And the game went through several iterations of balance during that time. It started out as a okay game. It had potential to be great. And it was early access, so, you know, you don't fault the game for being in alpha when it comes out, or even a beta. But during the process, oh man, it became a very grindy game. You needed hundreds, like 500 deeds, to level up one of the buildings in the game. That's awful. That is just awful. They also added in corpses, which at first I hated, because the corpses, no matter what you killed, always had the same graphic, and that ruined the immersion of the game for me. It also changed the balance of the game. They were trying to make the battles more difficult. And they succeeded in one way, in one aspect, by adding corpses, but they ruined it in other ways, because they suddenly encouraged more delaying the end of combat to heal, which involved them trying to add a new mechanic to the game to try to punish you for standing around and healing, which also didn't work very well, because it could guess incorrectly. In any case, during the beta of Darkest Dungeon, I liked the idea of the game so much but felt the developers were taking it in completely wrong directions, that I learned how to mod that game, and that's when I created Lotaeri's uncleverly named mod, which I haven't updated now in 3 years, I think. There's been a new DLC for that game, The Butcher's Circus, I think? And I never even bothered to log into the game, and I didn't buy that DLC. It looks like that's a multiplayer DLC where you challenge other players, and it just doesn't really interest me. And I only during the Corpse and Hound patch is when I developed my mod, and I learned how the AI works. I designed my own creatures. I learned how all the stats work, how the loot tables work for the game. There wasn't a single aspect of the game that I didn't end up touching. And I've never played the base version of Darkest Dungeon since beta. I mention this, though, not because of any balance issues necessarily with the game. I don't know if there is any balance issues with the game, because I haven't played the base game now in an age. But I mention it only because of how upset I was getting with the game during the beta process, and I was recording the game and uploading it. I think my original videos are up on my channel, if I recall correctly, from back in 2015? Is that when the game came out? Oh, and Darkest Dungeon is not on my crap games or my meh games, by the way. I do like Darkest Dungeon. When was the game released? 2016. January 19th of 2016. Yep. It's been more than 6 years. Holy crap, time goes by fast. Anyway. I was getting rather upset with the direction the developers were taking the game, and that came out in my videos. I was very harsh on the game initially. I hated the changes that they were doing, and I don't think viewers to a YouTube channel really want to watch someone hate on a game that they're there to watch. Not unless it's something like a review. And even then, they probably want you to market that you are, you're playing this game not enjoying it, so like it's a harsh review or something, or like they'll want the title to be like everything I think is wrong with Darkest Dungeon. And they'll want you to be like, of course, that could be a troll, and it's like all the best stuff that you love about it, or it's like stupid stuff. Like, I hate that the girls are wearing armor. There's some silliness like that. But my videos were becoming I think this is awful, and I don't want to play this game anymore. But then I learned how to mod the game, and I figured I would use my initial playlist during the beta as an attempt to show my changes to the game. I'm not going to talk anymore about modding Darkest Dungeon. That would take hours to summarize the thought process that I had through it and why I made the alterations that I did, and talk a little more about the base game and that one. And by the way, we're here in Junkyard because we caught a ghost fish. We are totally turning this into Geezer Ford right now. But another game I had played, and so I regretted playing that game in early access only because it is early access. The developers of the game are going to make changes, and they're going to test things for their game. That's why it's in beta. And so, me being really harsh on a game, if it's in early access, it'll turn off people to the game when it's in a state that's not considered finalized. And it's one of the reasons why I don't play early access games any longer. I want to wait till the game is officially released, as at that point, I have an idea of what the designers are going for with their game. And here are with Geezer Ford, so let's talk with Geezer Ford. You again. About that fishing challenge. Yeah? I still need to see you catch a ghost face. Yeah, I caught a ghost face. Very good, son. I remember when I caught my first ghost face. It was in the cold caves. Very good. Well, it appears you caught them all. Well, he stares at us. I'm waiting. He maintains his stare, but eventually it shifts towards the fishing rod. His hand beckons you to follow him. Come here. Let him show you the trick. Alright, you get 1 oddity experience point for that. That makes it worth it. Unless your dex is really low, in which case maybe you skip this oddity point. The feat you learn from that... Fish are whatever you catch, you can reel in. Fish will no longer get away from you. You'll always catch them. Super useful if you're into biology in this game and you're, well, crafting, making potions, as you'll need some of the special bits from these fish. Right, we got some more time, so let's head on back home and we'll make ourselves some a different set of armor. Another game that I played during early access, and that I wish I didn't, and not for the same reasons as, say, Darkest Dungeon. With Darkest Dungeon, I regretted playing it during alpha because I felt I was overly harsh on the game in some aspects. On that same note, I really felt honest about what I was saying at the time. And I was dreading the game being released in its current incarnation. But anyway, another game I played, and I have on my channel for early access days, I think I still have it on my channel, is Starcrawlers. I was the first person to upload videos from Starcrawlers, and my video was the one you found if you wanted to look up what Starcrawlers was originally. And us YouTubers and game designers have an interesting dichotomy together. If we don't do a good job showing off a game, it could turn people off from the game. On that same note, if a game developer makes a poor game, one of the reasons why it might not be picked up by YouTubers is because it's in such a poor state. Now, that might not be the case. It just may be, it's so hard to get recognized, your game to be recognized from Steam or from wherever it is that you're uploading your game to. Take, for example, Underrail, this game. This game wasn't very popular originally. When I was playing through this game with Garrett, not many people had ever heard of Underrail, let alone played through it. I had actually bought the game for 2 of my friends already, and neither of them were even interested in playing the game, despite the fact that I thought it was an amazing game. So, and then when, I don't remember how to say his name, I still haven't watched any of his videos, Seth reviewed it, suddenly, millions of people became aware of this game, and its popularity grew tremendously. And because Underrail is a great game, lots of people fell in love with it once they realized this game existed. So, I regretted playing Starcrawlers because during early access, it was really early access. And my original video, I think it had something like at least 4,000 views, like a month or 3 after I had uploaded it to YouTube. And if you know, if you're a regular watcher of my stuff or you're familiar with my channel, you know I don't get very many views. I'm a tiny, unpopular YouTuber, and I'm that way because I don't use anything from Google. I don't monetize my videos. I don't put ads or let ads be on my video. You guys hopefully have never seen a single ad on any video of mine. I'll never add them. Haha, pun intended. But I don't let YouTube advertise other channels on my channel or anything of that sort. So I know I'm not the first in the algorithm that YouTube would want to recommend to someone to watch. because I'm not going to do much to pay for my content up here. In any case, I'm worried that my early plays of that game were rather poor, and I feel bad if that had led people away from Star Crawlers. I haven't actually even looked at the game in a few years. I meant to play through it, and I think we'll do that early next year. The game itself is a first-person dungeon crawl, and it plays a little bit like Grimrock, but movement is turn-based. So when you move a space, the enemies move a space. Generally, your exploration of the different areas you go in is done in first person. Combat plays a lot like Dragon Warrior, from my very limited experience of Dragon Warrior. I was expecting it to play like a Grimrock game, so I was surprised it played the way it did. The music was great. I liked the art. A few patches later, and I think the game is in a well-balanced state at this point. They changed some mechanics, they dropped a few features they had originally added in, and I think it's done well. I think there's actually an expansion coming out for it soon, if I recall correctly, and I plan on buying that the moment it's out. I like Star Crawlers. But back to early access games, as long as we're going all over the place with different topics. In 1 second. Okay, this is what we're doing. I think. Okay. So, yeah, so I regret playing that game only because I am worried that it was so early access. It showed people what it was going to be like, maybe, because it was an alpha. But I did ask permission from the developers if I could upload videos for it, and they said yes. So, oh god, I hope I did a good job with it. Oh man. The weird thing about my channel, I'll mention this really quick, is I am a very tiny YouTube channel, right? I'm a baby infant channel. I've got 1,000, I think, 470 subscribers right now. And the number doesn't really... I don't care about the number. I care about you guys. I care about making sure that I'm uploading things that you guys like to watch. But on that note, I seem to be lucky enough that often the designers or developers of various video games end up watching my channel play through them. That's very humbling when they do this. Because even if I don't like the game, even Doom 2016, I do appreciate the effort that was put into it to make this game for us. Time and effort is put in these games. Now, you could say, and it's truthful to say, that these developers are being paid money to do this. They're not doing it only for our pure enjoyment, they're doing it for a paycheck, and that's correct. But I do appreciate the amount of effort developers put into their game, especially a game like Underrail, where Stygian Software continues to try to balance their game and update it with new features and content. I really like that very much. Anyway, I thought I should say that. And anyway, this is why also one of the reasons especially because of Star Crawlers, is one of the reasons why I don't think I've played an early access game on my channel in a long time now. Not since I think Star Crawlers and Darkest Dungeons. That would be back in 2015, 2016. All other early access games I have played on my channel were around that same time, and I feel it's best to wait until the games are finished. That includes, I once had recorded one or two videos on, what's it called? Star Citizen. I was a Kickstarter backer for Star Citizen 10 years ago or so. 9 years ago. That was 9 years ago when that game was on Kickstarter. And whenever I've logged into the game, it's felt like that game needs more time in the oven. And so I've been waiting for the single player to finally be released before I play Star Citizen. And I haven't heard anything about the single player game. We can talk about Star Citizen in a later video. I'm beginning to babble. Let's go ahead and create ourselves some better armor. Oh, I'm sorry, not better. Maybe not better armor, but we're going to make some more armor. So, let's go down to infused leather. And we're going to take our 89 Cypher skin and combine it with our super steel fiber armor. And we get quality 131 infused greater siphoned leather. It's not the best, but it's very close to the best. I'm willing to accept this quality leather. Oh, I guess we should show you what this does, though, first, right? So, if we were to make leather armor out of just this greater siphoner armor, these are the effects it would give us. 6 mechanical resistance with 24% mechanical 6 damage threshold with 24% resistance, and we can see heat, acid, and energy. And a 5% armor penalty with 15 dodge and evasion. My plan is to add a Kelver cloth to it to greatly reduce the damage we take from bullets by 77%, almost giving us the same amount of mechanical damage threshold against bullets and shotgun shells that our Riot Overcoat possesses. So this would almost be the same. Well, not quite the same, with only 6 mechanical threshold. But the idea is the same. Try to give us as much bullet damage reduction as possible, and only a 50% armor penalty, at least normally. Though I also intend to add galvanic foam padding to it to give us some electrical resistance. I guess I don't have to do that, though. I'll think about it, because that will leave us with a 2% armor penalty if I go with this. But if we infuse that siphoner leather, we go from 24% and 6 to 29% and 8 mechanical resistance. That is much closer to our current, well, maybe not much closer, but we actually pick up more damage percentage mechanical resistance on our jumpsuit. So I suppose this could, arguably, if we do get hit by a sniper rifle, I think this armor would reduce the damage more, because I'm pretty sure it's going to be percentage based when a sniper rifle hits us. So that's great. There's only a 5% armor penalty, and notice that the dodge and evasion went from 15 points to 58 points. And then I'd add this to it, for once again getting an extra 77% against bullet and shotgun shells. I'm really tempted to just create this, and maybe we drop the Seeker goggles temporarily and see how well this works. Though, to be honest, we're not really getting hit in melee anymore. We have a fantastic amount of movement. We'll actually have even more movement with this armor, because we don't have any armor penalty. We can be burned, though. Or do I do this? So I did just save the game. So why don't I'm going to save the game again. So I'm pretty happy with this. And let me see what our dodge and evasion is with this. Also, I like the look of this. I like the coat that we wear. I think it looks better than this looks, because I don't like the helmet that comes with this outfit. So I think this is more appropriate for what Decker would be wearing if this was invisible ink. So our dodge and evasion here is 225 dodge because we're wearing the Seeker goggles, and 300 evasion. Now, if I put this on, our dodge and evasion is 255. So that the electricity resistance, and what is it with our goggles on? 192. So it's costing us 45 points of dodge and evasion that we are missing if we equip this armor with the electricity resistance. So the only thing that's going to be harming us with electricity are Psy Beetles, Lunatics, Electricians, arguably the occasional electric dagger or sledgehammer. And coil spiders. Daggers and hammers. The 5 and 60% electrical resistance is decent against. More for daggers and swords, though, than hammers. Hammers will slaughter us if they hit us anyway. Coil spiders don't... we can't dodge or evade their attacks. But if we get hit by them, we're dead anyway. Because we don't have the most hit points. So I'd have to use my shield for coil spiders. And Psy Crabs are only in the DLC, and only in a few other places that we haven't been in. Do I want 300 evasion or 255 evasion? How much money do I have? 14,000 again. Okay. Why don't we keep this armor as is? We'll keep this armor as is, and we can make another suit of this armor. I can go ahead off screen and attempt to get more super steel. Yeah, we'll do that. Okay, we have a little bit of time left. A tiny bit of time before we've been playing for an hour. Or maybe we're just over an hour. So let's go ahead and head back to the Black Sea. Do I want to end it here? Let's end it here. We've been playing for a while. Give me a chance to rest my voice. So thank you guys for watching. And when we come back, we'll head back to the Black Sea and we'll explore more of the waterways in the western and northwestern waters. So see you guys then, and take care everyone.